Welcome to stage 3, where we stop asking if the server works and start asking if it's protected. Lesson 12 is the firewall, and Ubuntu makes this refreshingly simple. UFW is Canonical's friendly skin over nftables, giving you English-like commands that cover 90% of real-world fleets. We'll start from a default deny baseline, layer in rules for SSH, web, and WireGuard, add per IP rate limiting and logging, and then drop down to raw nftables for the last 10%. The stateful policies and custom sets UFW can express. So let's pin down the architecture. When you type UFW allow 80 char, UFW translates that into an nftables rule, and the kernel does the actual enforcement. You can prove it anytime with nftlist ruleset. What you'll see is a set of name chains. UFW before input runs first with the safety baseline, then UFW user input where your rules live, then after input for cleanup, and finally UFW reject input as the catch-all. And one rule of thumb, the files under warning sherry UFW are readable, but you edit them through the UFW command, not by hand. With that architecture in mind, here's the baseline you run on every fresh host, and the order matters. Step 1, allow SSH explicitly, ideally scoped to your management subnet, because the moment you enable UFW with a default deny incoming policy, any session not already permitted is gone. Then set the policies, deny incoming, allow outgoing so apt and DNS keep working, deny forward unless this box is actually routing. Open what the host serves, like nftables for 80 and 443, then enable and verify with status verbose. And the golden rule, open a second SSH session from another host to confirm you're still reachable before you close the one you're working in. Always have a console fallback. Once that baseline is solid, you graduate to the patterns real fleets actually use. App profiles live in etc. UFW, applications AD, and ship with packages. So instead of memorizing that nginx full means 80 and 443, you just allow the profile by name. Per source allows are where you tighten the screws. SSH only from the ops bastion, only from the LAN, syslog only from your management range, and numbered rules give you surgical control. List with status numbered, delete by index, or insert at position 1 when order matters, like blacklisting an IP before a broader allow can match it. Tightening the screws further, UFW limit gives you free brute force protection, 6 connections from a single IP in 30 seconds, and after that, the source gets dropped for the rest of the window. Pair it with UFW logging on, medium if you also want invalid and rate-limited packets. And every block lands in var, log, fww, log, and journaled. From there, a quick awk one-liner on the block lines surfaces your top attacking IPs and the ports they're probing, which becomes the seed list you'll feed into CrowdSec in Lesson 14. This is the slide worth bookmarking, your day-to-day UFW runbook on one page. Status verbose shows defaults, status numbered gives you the indices you need for surgical deletes and inserts, and show listening is the one that answers the real question. Which open ports actually have a rule in front of them. Reset wipes everything and disables the firewall, so reserve it for lab boxes only. On production, prefer disable, which keeps your rules intact. And before any risky change, copy user.rules and user6.rules out to a timestamped backup. That's your instant rollback and your seed file for Ansible later. Now for the other 10%, when UFW's English vocabulary runs out, you drop down to raw nftables, and the good news is your UFW rules keep working right alongside. 3 patterns earn their keep in production. A name set for block lists, so Failban and CrowdSec can add and expire thousands of IPs without rewriting rules. An interval set loaded with country CIDR ranges for GeoWhip filtering, and a token bucket rate limit on port 443, 100 per second sustain, 200 burst, which is your slow LoRa's defense. Then write the rule set to nftables.conf and enable the service so it survives a reboot. Now for a trick that's pure paranoia fuel, port knocking. You close SSH at the firewall entirely, invisible to every scanner on the internet, and only open it when a client hits a secret sequence of ports in the right order. NOC watches your logs, and when it sees SOAN packets to 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, it runs a UFW insert for that source IP. A reverse sequence closes it again. One critical caveat: have console access before you delete that SSH rule, and treat this as a layer on top of L13's hardening, never a substitute. Let's zoom out and put all the pieces on one page. 7 scenarios, 3 tools, UFW for the everyday stuff, opening ports, restricting by source, rate limiting SSH, raw nftables when you need scale, like sets of 10,000 bad IPs or geo-blocking, and external watchers like failban or crowdsec for anything dynamic. The pattern to internalize is the star at the bottom. UFW as your baseline, failban and crowdsec reacting to logs in real time, and NFT sets holding your forever bans. That's the layered defense we're building toward in L13 and L14. Before we close out, the gotchas. 5 things that will bite you, ranked by how often they actually happen. Number 1 is the rite of passage, enabling UFW without allowing SSH and watching your connection die. Always allow SSH first and read the prompt UFW gives you. 2, don't forget IPv6. A tight v4 rule means nothing if v6 is wide open. 3, never hand edit the rules files. UFW regenerates them. 4, order matters. Deny goes at the top with insert 1. And 5, Docker punches straight through UFW via nftables, so bind to localhost or use the UFW Docker package. So that's lesson 12. 6 skills that take you from an open server to a hardened one. You understand UFW as a wrapper over nftables. You've got default deny in place, production rules with app profiles and per source filtering, rate limiting and log analysis, raw nftables for the edge cases, and you've sidestepped the 5 gotchas that catch most people. Next up, lesson 13, SSH hardening. It's the most attacked service on the planet, so we'll go key only, kill root login, prep for failed to ban, and look at port choice and MFA. Firewalls up, default deny, app profiles, rate limiting, raw nftables, all in your toolkit now. Next stop, SSH hardening. Key-only auth, no root login, no passwords ever. And if you want to go deep, there's a full cross-course bridge in SSH hardening mastery waiting for you. Load up lesson 13 and let's keep building.